Hello and welcome to episode 12 of More Than Sweat. I'm your host, Brook Benten, and in our walk today, you and I will power walk for 20 minutes at 132 steps per minute. That's a 4.2 mile an hour cadence, and most people transition to a jog at about 4.3 miles per hour. So this is a very fast power walk. You want to be sure as you're walking that you're keeping your shoulders pulled back, your head up high, and your abdominals engaged. That's proper walking form, and when you start hunching forward, you may need to take a little pause, recover, and join us a little bit later. In our walk, we're going to be talking about the importance of spending time in solitude. By spending time with yourself, you greatly enhance your overall well-being and you become a more patient person with everybody around you. Go ahead and grab yourself a tall glass of water, lace up your walking sneakers, and let's get going. Feel the beat of this amazing royalty-free fitness music and walk to it. Strike the ground. Heel, 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 heel. You roll from the heel to your toe. Push off your big toe in the back. Lift up your knee and take another step. As we walk, we're talking about the importance of solitude today. And to get to that, I'm going to go a roundabout way. I'm going to start with a story. It's called The Two Wolves, a Cherokee story. This is not my story. You can Google it, The Two Wolves story, but it's a good one. I'm going to read it to you, and then we're going to break this apart and see how it goes back to you spending time in solitude. A young boy came to his grandfather filled with anger at another boy who had done him an injustice. The old grandfather said to his grandson, "Let me tell you a story. I too, at times, have felt a great hate for those that have taken so much with no sorrow for what they do. But hate wears you down, and hate does not hurt your enemy. Hate is like taking poison and wishing your enemy would die. I have struggled with these feelings many times. It is as if there are two wolves inside me. One wolf is good and does no harm. He lives in harmony with all around him and does not take offense when no offense is intended. He only fights when it is right to do so and in the right way. But the other wolf is full of anger. The littlest thing will set him into a fit of temper. He fights everyone all the time for no reason. He cannot think because his anger and hate are so great. It is helpless anger because his anger will change nothing. Sometimes it is hard to live with these two wolves inside of me because both of the wolves try to dominate my spirit." The boy looked intently into his grandfather's eyes and asked, "Which wolf will win, grandfather?" The grandfather smiled and said, "The one I feed." Let me say that again for the ones in the back. The one I feed. Which wolf are you feeding? We both have those two wolves inside of us. You do, I do, and when I'm hungry, tired, hot, it's been really hot in Texas this summer, or I haven't spent enough time in solitude, that angry wolf is getting fed. All of those things I'm deprived in are like good food for the angry wolf. I'm not in a good state of mind. My wellness is going to go down a spiral because I have not nourished myself, rested, cooled down, and spent time with my best friend, which is me. It needs to be you. Loneliness is an epidemic, but nobody can solve your loneliness if you can't become friends with yourself. Sometimes we lean on other people so heavily because we're uncomfortable being friends with ourselves. I just got back from a trip to Colorado where I hiked for 4 days by myself, spending time with each breath, with each thought, processing each, and not having my phone on me, not having other people talking to me. And it was fantastic. It was therapeutic. It was like taking a bath to get time with myself. And I come back refreshed as if that other wolf had been fed. The wolf that's passionate about harmony, about wellness, about doing good and being good to others. I gotta feed that wolf. How am I gonna feed it? By spending time with my best friend, which is myself, and you need to do it too. I think you're doing it right here on this walk right now. Do you do it every week? You might do it every Friday, but boo, there's 7 days in a week. You need time with yourself in solitude every day, every single day. So I encourage you, don't make this a once-a-week podcast. I'd love it that you download this podcast once a week, but you need time by yourself every single day. And it's a little catch-22 here because you need your device in order to be able to hear the words that I'm saying, the words I am preaching to you. I try not to come across overly preachy, but I need you to absorb this, that if you're not nourishing your body with what it needs, turn into the bad wolf. You are, because that's what you're feeding. But if you're giving yourself rest, nourishment, not getting overly hot, and spending time in solitude, you're feeding the good wolf, and that is going to manifest additional goodness. You know, really sad statistics about well-being. I'm going to give them to you right now. 67% of people say that well-being is a top priority. And 77% of people take personal responsibility for improving it. They know if they don't improve their own well-being, nobody else is going to do it for them. Only 12% of people say that their well-being is where it should be. But this is the real statistic that gets my goat, that makes my heart hurt. 44% of people believe that actually achieving overall well-being may be impossible. Oh, my soul! It's not impossible, but you gotta feed the good wolf. You gotta rest, nourish, cool yourself off, and spend time with yourself. You can't be your own big bad wolf. You gotta get to be friends with the only soul that's gonna take every breath with you until the day you die. That's yourself. If you are not spending time with yourself and becoming your best friend, loving yourself, nobody else can do it for you, and you will live a lifelong experience of loneliness. A psychiatrist can't fix it. A mental health professional can't fix it. A life coach can't fix it. But you know who can? You, boo. You. You've got to get in a headspace where you forgive yourself for your transgressions. You forgive yourself for things that you've done that you think are unthinkable. Because guess what? Everybody's done those things that they can hardly stand, that they believe are unthinkable. And you got to metabolize them. They're in the past. You can't change it. You got to stop ruminating because it's going to drive you mad crazy. You accept that it is what happened. It is what happened, and it is over, and you move on. And then breath by breath, step by step, walk by walk in solitude, you learn to love yourself again. You put your phone down. That phone is not helping you to connect with yourself. It's helping you become more and more distracted, and we live in an overly distracted world. I want you taking time every single day to just be with you, to be with your thoughts, and see if that doesn't enhance your overall well-being. 44% of people think overall well-being is impossible, or maybe impossible. That is just gut-wrenching. That's according to the Global Well-Being Report, and that was done recently this year. Over 14,000 people in 14 countries. Just so sad. As we're walking today, I want you to give yourself a pat on the back that you're doing it. You're doing the thing. You don't have anybody walking with you besides me, and I'm just in your head. You're in your head at all times. When we end this podcast, I hope you keep walking with your best friend and just let your thoughts go. Just let it go. We're not just in this for physical fitness. We're in this for wellness. We're in this for wellness. You gotta get good with you, boo. I really think if you did that every day, you spent time with yourself every day, it's gonna change your ever-loving life. It's gonna change your life to take out the noise, all of the noise, and spend time with you. So everybody's got red buttons. Dr. Luana Marquez is a psychiatrist that I love, and I follow her to the ends of the earth. And she talks about your red buttons. We have blue buttons. When the blue button gets pushed, it hardly even phases you. For me, like a blue button would be if it's drizzling outside and I gotta go to work. I am never fully dressed for work. I never have makeup on, my hair's not done really nice, and I'm probably in spandex. So I can walk right into the drizzle and it doesn't bother me one bit that I'm gonna look like a wet mop when I get to my work. It's okay, it doesn't matter. So it's a blue button for me, it doesn't get my goat. Let me tell you about a red button. For me, a red button is competing noises all going on at the same time. Cacophony. It takes me from 0 to 60. And if I haven't spent time in solitude with my best friend, that's me, then when that red button gets pressed, I'm not going to take a breath. I'm not going to take a minute. I'm going to be reactive. I'm going to go a little bit crazy lady, because that's what happens with cacophony for me. Let me elaborate on what cacophony is. I'll paint you a picture. If I'm in the kitchen and my husband comes up and he's like, babe, I think I want to go to the gym tonight, but I'd be late for dinner. Is it okay with you if I go take a class? And at the same time he's asking me that, my daughter's saying, where's the remote, Mom? I can't find the remote. I can't find the remote control. I want to watch Dora. I can't find it. And at the same time, there's a police siren going on outside of my home. Woo, woo, woo. And at the same time, my son is on his Nintendo Switch, which is like the epitome of cacophony, those sounds that the Nintendo Switch makes. Go, 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 ding, 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 ding. All of that's happening at the same time. Red button is glowing like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That's my red button. You know what I'm saying, Mama? Do you hear that? Do you hear what I'm talking about? All that cacophony? You're picturing it because you've dealt with what I just explained. If I had spent time with myself, I can take a minute and then respond to all this. I can tell my husband, I want you to go to the gym. Enjoy your class. We're going to eat dinner, but I'll have yours when you get home. Go, enjoy. I can tell my daughter, Juliana, you were the last one to watch television, so the remote is wherever you left it last. But if you give me a second, I'll come help you find it. I can ask Hayes, baby, will you get some headphones and put it in your Nintendo Switch because the music's so loud for me? Or at least turn it down. Can you do that for me? And how much longer do you have on your hour? I limit my kids to an hour of screen time. And if I don't check them, then they'll go overtime and be like, oh, I didn't know. They know when their hour's up. So I can be like, baby, how much longer do you have and will you turn it down or get headphones? And then with the siren, woo, woo, that's going on outside of my house, I can maybe have some empathy and some compassion. Gosh, I hope everything's okay out there. I hope nobody's in trouble. Instead of just being that gosh darn sirens driving me bananas. Handle all of that with some peace, even though it's a red button. And I can gently turn that red button off, just like that. Whereas if I have not spent time in solitude, I will scream and holler at everybody. Shut up! Yeah, no, I don't like the noise. Stop it! Stop it! Juliana, I don't know where the remote is. Babe, do you have to go tonight? We got a lot going on here. Do you have to go to the gym tonight? Your dinner's gonna be cold, but fine, just fine, go. And I can tell Hayes, will you please get that infernal Nintendo Switch away from me? I don't want to be that person. I don't want to live like that. That is feeding the big bad wolf. But if I spend time in solitude, I am calm, cool, and collected. The parasympathetic nervous system is tapped into. That is the nervous system that says, yeah, girl, it is all okay. You got this. You go, girl. Everything is at peace. That is the parasympathetic nervous system. That's where I can live when I spend time in solitude. I know it sounds like sympathetic nervous system should be the comfortable, peaceful one. No, that's the beast. The sympathetic nervous system says fight, flight, or freeze. But mayday, mayday, red button's going off, you gotta react. So yeah, we can spend some time in the sympathetic nervous system when you do your HIIT workouts. When you run like you're being chased by a bear, you're in the sympathetic nervous system. But when we're doing our little walk and talk like we're doing right now, parasympathetic nervous system, it's all good. When you walk with no music, no podcast, and you're just listening to the wind and the thoughts in your head are being processed, parasympathetic nervous system. You need this in your life. I'm coming across really preachy. It's because I care so much that you're feeding the right wolf, that you're feeding the wolf that's going to make you a full, whole, healthy, well human being, and not feeding the one that later you're going to be like, I don't even like the person I've become. Maybe it's because you haven't spent time in solitude, and so all of your red buttons are going off, and you're reacting to them because you can't help yourself. Solitude makes so much difference. And I go back to you being your best friend. If anybody asks me, who's your best friend? I impulsively say Daniel, my husband. He gets me. I always feel like, oh, I'm complicated. People don't get me. I'm just complex. Daniel gets me. He knows me. He is the closest thing I have outside of myself to a best friend. But if I'm being really honest, it's me. Because if I don't love me, then I'm not going to be the version of me that other people can love and that I can love back. And that's how I can be the wife to him that I want to be, and the mother to my children that I want to be, the friend to my friends, the podcast host to you, the daughter to my mom and dad, the sister to my brothers, the dog mom to Ernie. I can do that because I've spent time with myself. Last week, actually, I just got back yesterday. Last night, that's why this podcast is a little rushed for recording. For 4 days, I spent time in solitude, hiking, sitting in front of the fireplace in my cabin, eating good food, swimming laps, and just keeping away from devices and letting the voice in my head be a loving voice. We all have that voice in our head that's going to talk to us. I don't mean you're hearing a bunch of different voices. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm talking about. We all have that narrator in our voice. And that narrator has the capacity to be loving, to be your best friend. Or that narrator has the capacity to be your inner critic that makes you want to pluck an eyeball out with a plastic fork because that voice in your head is being so cruel and hateful. You've been spending too much time feeding the bad wolf. You need to feed that good wolf. Let me tell you again what that good wolf does. It's as if there's two wolves inside of me. This is the good wolf. One wolf is good and does no harm. He lives in harmony with all around him and does not take offense when no offense is intended. He will only fight when it's right to do so and in the right way. But the other wolf is full of anger. The littlest thing will set him into a fit of temper. You know, you've heard it twice now. We're feeding that good wolf. That's what we're going to do so that we don't get in the fit of temper, so that when the red buttons get pressed, and even if you spend time in solitude every single day, you're not going to stop the red buttons from getting turned on. Those red buttons are going to get pushed. That's why there's an expression, you're pushing my buttons. But how are you going to react to that? That makes all the difference. Not trying to prevent your buttons from getting pushed at all. They're going to get pushed. But how do you react when they do get pushed? You take a minute because you have a foundational goodness since you've spent time in solitude. And I did mention those other important things too. Getting enough rest. If you're not getting enough sleep, you don't have the brain capacity to pause your reaction when the red button's pressed. You need to nourish yourself. If you're nourishing yourself with ultra-processed foods chased down with alcohol, that's not real nourishment. You need to be putting real food from the earth in your body. You knew I was going to hit the alcohol part in this podcast somewhere. I always seem to come back around to that. I think it's so important for you to be drinking water, to be putting good hydration in your body, and then food that a farmer grew somewhere. Mostly food that a farmer grew. Put that in your body. Nourish yourself. It will change your mental health by putting the right food in your body. And I'm telling you, when we get hot, we're reactive people. Cool yourself off. Stay cool. And I repeat and repeat and repeat. You need to be spending time with yourself. You're busy. I'm busy. We're all busy. And there's competing priorities. They're going to try to sway you away from your solitude time. You need to put this above all those other things. If the laundry doesn't get folded, it's okay. If the email doesn't get answered, you can do it tomorrow. If the meals don't get prepped, you're still going to find something to eat. And if you've got vegetables, you can eat them raw. But you need to be sure that this sacred time in solitude goes at the top of your priorities list. Even if some things that you may think are relatively important have to get scratched off altogether. That's okay. You're flexible. You'll be all right because they're relatively important. There ain't no relatively to this. Solitude is important. It can be sitting and meditating. It can be going on a walk. Don't make it intense exercise. I don't want the exercise component to take away from the precious time that you need to connect with yourself. If you're going too intensely, you're not going to be able to be present with yourself. You're going to be looking at your Apple Watch or trying to beat your last time that you ran the same course, and I need that to stop because your time with you will make a domino changes in the rest of your life, the person you are to everybody that you care about, but more importantly, the person you are to you. Hear this message and take it as the key to how you improve your life. Other things are important. Yes, that you're eating right, that you're sleeping, that you're staying cool, and even if you're overweight, that you lose some of that weight. It is important, but nothing is as important as getting right with yourself. And that means breath by breath, maybe step by step, maybe sitting as you're watching water or wherever you want to meditate. Each second that passes, you're loving yourself more. It may not happen right now. It may not happen next week. But day by day that you make it a priority to spend time with yourself, more and more you're going to start liking yourself and then loving yourself. And before long, boo, you're your own best friend. Thank you for joining me today on More Than Sweat. That wraps 20 minutes at 4.2 miles per hour, which most people can power walk between 3.5 and 4.2 miles an hour. But most people have to transition to a high-impact jog at 4.3 miles an hour. So we were booking it. You probably got a little sweat on your brow right now from the pace that we were walking for 20 minutes. Good job. Next week, episode number 13 is going to be on the importance of persevering when it's tough. No is the beginning of a negotiation. That will be our 13th and final episode in season 1 of More Than Sweat. I want you feeding that good wolf. Listen to this episode again if you need or want to. Listen to all of the episodes in More Than Sweat as each one gives a motivating message intended to make you whole, cleverly disguised as a sweat fest. Thank you for joining me for More Than Sweat. I'm Brook Benten, and I'll see you next Friday.